Carnage tonight in the Scotland village of Lockerbie, where a Pan Am 747 headed for New York crashed and exploded. No known survivors on the plane. They're still trying to determine the number of casualties on the ground.
NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw.
Good evening. Pan Am Flight 103 from London's Heathrow to New York's Kennedy Airport was at 31,000 feet tonight, a short time into its flight when air traffic controllers suddenly lost contact. A short time later, the 747 crashed into a Scottish village and exploded in a ball of flames. There were 258 people on board. 103 was the last Pan Am non-stop flight from London to New York tonight. And when it went down 300 miles northwest of Heathrow, there was no last-minute radio message from the cockpit. It's believed that all 258 people on the flight were killed, 243 passengers, including 3 infants and 15 crew members. There are reports tonight as well that 12 people on the ground were killed, but those are unconfirmed reports. NBC's Peter Kent is in London tonight. Robert Hager is in Washington looking into possible causes of this crash. We begin with Peter Kent and late details on this holiday tragedy. Peter?
Tom, in the village of Lockerbie, people were just finishing dinner, watching Christmas programs on television, preparing for the holidays when the jumbo came down. In a matter of seconds, the community was ripped by explosions and fires. An earthquake, some residents thought at first. Others believed a local factory had exploded. In one part of town, 7 homes disappeared in flames. A gas station exploded. A fireball rose hundreds of feet into the air. A large part of the Pan Am jet apparently crashed onto the main highway from England to Glasgow, which runs through the village of Lockerbie.
I believe the thing was on fire when it went across. There was definitely, it was trailing flames. There was a terrible explosion and the whole sky lit up and it was virtually raining fire. You know, it was just like liquid fire. The way it exploded, the way it went up was, it was just beyond description.
Eyewitness Archie Smith was a bit farther away.
It was just about 7 o'clock we heard this almighty bang and the whole skylight. I was looking out in the back kitchen which looks over onto the A74 and it was, the sky lit up and I heard this explosion. I realised it was a plane coming down, so we just get down on the floor.
Royal Air Force, Royal Navy and emergency services across southern Scotland and in Cumberland County just across the border in England have been scrambled. Regional hospitals have made hundreds of beds available. Britain's Civil Aviation Authority still maintains there is no evidence to support the 2 aircraft theory of a mid-air collision. Spokesmen say only that Pan Am Flight 103 disappeared from radar screens just before reports of the crash on the ground. One question which may only be answered when the aircraft's flight recorder is recovered is why, given all of this underpopulated part of Scotland, did the aircraft come down on top of Lockerbie? Was the Pan Am crew perhaps trying desperately to land on the highway? Tom?
Peter, there's also been a report in this country from aviation authorities in Washington that other pilots in the area saw the plane falling out of the sky already engulfed in flames. Have you picked up any of that there?
We haven't, Tom, although we have heard from several eyewitnesses on the ground that the aircraft was trailing flames as it passed over a village about 3 miles away from Lockerbie and as it was descending.
All right, thank you very much. Peter Kent in London tonight. One of those people who has seen all of the destruction on the ground and talked with a lot of eyewitnesses is Jack Mickley. He's with the Automobile Association of South Scotland. He's on the telephone tonight, and apparently we do not have that conversation. We had hoped to bring it to you at this time. If we can get Mr. Mickley up, we'll try to do that later in the program. NBC's Robert Hager covers aviation for us. He reports tonight that there are several theories on what may have happened to this 747 to cause it to crash shortly after takeoff. Bob's in Washington now with that report.
Tom, most accidents happen on takeoff or landing, and this one happened at 31,000 feet, near cruising altitude. That makes it very unusual. Further, sources close to investigators say there was no communication from pilots ahead of time. Whatever happened must have happened very suddenly. And there are reports that pilots in the area saw the plane in flames in the night sky as it was on its way down. That would indicate an explosion of some kind in flight. Here's what investigators will be looking at. Sabotage, similar to what happened to an Air India flight in June 1985. Sikh terrorists were believed responsible. A bomb, possibly in luggage, put aboard the plane leaving Canada, exploded over Ireland. The plane crashed into the ocean. The investigation was difficult because the wreckage was more than a mile underwater. The fuselage of this TWA airliner bombed over Greece in 1986 demonstrates what damage even a small bomb can do aboard a plane. Catastrophic failure of another sort aboard an airliner, similar to this 1985 crash of a Japan Airlines plane. The rear bulkhead burst from a faulty repair, blowing the tail off the plane. Cracks. In 1986, after cracks were found in a number of U.S. 747s, the Federal Aviation Administration instructed airlines to step up inspections, but the problems did not recur. The recent Aloha airline accident over Hawaii showed what cracks can do to a plane in flight. But the Aloha was an old Boeing 737, a plane that's had many more problems with cracks. Mid-air collision, similar to the disastrous 1986 Aeromexico crash outside Los Angeles. Investigators should be able to determine quickly whether there was any other plane in the area. But some other unknown plane at 31,000 feet would be highly unusual. If sabotage does turn out to be a leading possibility in this crash, that'll again raise questions about airport security. In government tests of security at U.S. airports, mock explosives get through undetected one time in every 10 tries. Tom?
Bob, isn't it also highly unusual for there to be no radio contact whatsoever?
Yes, extremely unusual, and investigators will be examining that very closely. But you know one thing, there's a lot of wreckage on the ground in this case. It's not under the ocean as it was in the Air India crash, and I think they'll find the flight data recorder. That'll tell them a lot. I think we'll get to the bottom of this.
All right, thanks very much, Robert Hager in Washington tonight. We now have on the telephone, I'm told, Jack Mickley, who is with the Automobile Association of South Scotland, and he has been to the crash site. Mr. Mickley, how many houses are on fire by your count? Can you give us a general description of the scene there?
Although it's difficult to be precise, but there was a number, at least half a dozen houses that were burning when I was at the scene earlier.
And the friends that you have in that area, how do they describe just what happened? Can you give us a detailed description of that?
Yes, one of my sergeants who lives in Lockerbie and was in his house at the time witnessed this. It was just, he described it as a plane that seemed to be very low and in trouble, and when he looked out it was burning and parts of wreckage falling off it. Scattered around it, then ploughed into the main dual carriageway between Scotland and England, the A74, and then landed and knocked down these houses in Lockerbie.
And we're also told that a number of cars that were on the highway where the plane crashed caught fire as well. Is that true?
That I don't know. We certainly arrived on the scene shortly after and said to the police that we would help them to clear the main dual carriageway, to leave them to get on with the rescue work in Lockerbie. And we cleared the cars and lorries from the carriageway to allow the emergency services to come from the north down to Lockerbie.
Thank you very much, Jack Mickley, who is the president of the Automobile Association of South Scotland. He was there tonight in Lockerbie shortly after the crash occurred. Among the passengers on Flight 103 were several students from Syracuse University, possibly as many as 37 who had just finished a semester of study in England. That tonight from Syracuse officials. Tonight's crash was one of the worst in history involving a U.S. jetliner. In 1977, a Pan Am plane collided with a KLM jet at the Tenerife Airport in the Canary Islands, and 582 people were killed at that time. In 1979, an American Airlines plane crashed in Chicago, killing 275 people. And in 1985, an Aero Air charter flight crashed in Gander, Newfoundland, killing 256 American military personnel headed home for the holidays. Also coming up here tonight on NBC Nightly News, federal prosecutors and Drexel Burnham strike a deal in the biggest Wall Street case ever.
Arlington emergency. There's somebody in my house.
And from Texas, one of the most dramatic 911 tape recordings yet, as a young girl talks to a police dispatcher, her teenage brother shoots to death an intruder.
You disappoint me. You are only eating Kellogg's strawberry squares to get that sweet strawberry in the middle. You're so superficial. I mean, there's no salt, no fat. Skipping stuff like that makes sense for your heart. You could eat squares for that. But no, you're just going to go right on eating them for the taste. Well, tell me I'm wrong. I thought so.
Kellogg's Squares. No salt, no fat. And now in blueberry.
Oh, blueberry.
Enjoy them to your heart's content.
I can't get out of bed.
Ever notice how even the smallest cold turns everything into a big effort?
What a drag!
It's time to get the big relief of Dimetap in 12-hour extend tabs. Dimetap is recommended millions of times by doctors and pharmacists.
So you have a cold? I've got just the thing.
Dimetap. It gets things back to normal.
There's a guilty plea tonight in the biggest Wall Street insider trading scandal yet. The investment firm of Drexel Burnham Lambert agreed this afternoon to a deal that will forestall an indictment. This deal calls for Drexel to plead guilty to 6 felony counts and to pay a record fine, $650 million. NBC's Mike Jensen is with us now with more details. Michael, what's going on?
Tom, this has been the biggest investigation in Wall Street history and is far and away the biggest fine. It was announced early this evening by the U.S. Attorney in New York.
Drexel Burnham will plead guilty to 6 felony counts of mail, wire, and securities fraud, and will pay a total of $650 million.
The settlement leaves the firm in very strong financial condition and allows us to refocus our energies on running the business successfully.
In the last few years, Drexel Burnham has become the hottest securities firm in America, earning hundreds of millions of dollars in bonuses and fees for its executives by arranging corporate mergers and then financing them with something called junk bonds. Drexel helped arrange the recent takeover of RJR Nabisco, for example, and from that one deal, the firm is expected to earn $230 million. Junk bonds were practically invented by Michael Milken of Drexel. They're low-grade bonds that pay a high rate of interest. Some say the recent and controversial boom in corporate takeovers could not have taken place without junk bonds. Milken, the former high school cheerleader, has earned bonuses from Drexel of as much as $200 million in a single year. But the government says Drexel has been not only inventive but crooked, that it broke the law by parking stock, handing it over secretly to people like Ivan Boesky, with Drexel still keeping control. That way the firm could get around federal securities laws. Boesky is in prison on fraud charges and paid $100 million in fines and fees. He was the government's main informant in the Drexel investigation, which lasted 2 years and involved 1.5 million pages of documents and 150 lawyers. In the midst of all this, Drexel has been talking to Howard Baker, the former White House chief of staff, about taking the job of chairman, something the firm hopes would give it a new image. Drexel says it already has spent $175 million as a result of the government's investigation and has lost $1.5 billion in revenues.
This settlement does not include Michael Milken. He is still the target of a grand jury investigation. So far, Tom, nobody going to jail in this case.
Thank you very much, Mike Jensen, tonight with that historic insider trading case. And there's a major new spy scandal in this country tonight. A U.S. Army intelligence officer is under arrest, accused of passing top military secrets to the communist East Bloc. NBC's Jim Klashevsky has more details on that.
The spy operation stretched from Germany to Georgia and may have spanned 10 years before it was shut down here at Fort Stewart outside Savannah. Army agents arrested 30-year-old warrant officer James William Hall, suspected of selling some of the military's top secrets to East Germany. Pentagon sources say his only motive appeared to be money. At the same time, the FBI arrested Turkish-born Hüseyin Yildirim outside Tampa, Florida, as a material witness. Yildirim is believed to have been the courier between Hall and the East Germans. For nearly a decade, Hall had served as a senior intelligence analyst and supervisor at Army bases in Schneeberg, West Berlin, and Frankfurt, West Germany. Pentagon officials say it was while Hall was in West Berlin that he was allegedly recruited by the East Germans. Army sources say as an intelligence officer, Hall intercepted, decoded, and analyzed communications from Warsaw Pact troops, enabling U.S. and NATO forces to read the other side's war plan. Military experts believe whatever secrets Hall may have revealed about those techniques and capabilities could deal a major blow to U.S. intelligence operations.
Well, potentially the most sensitive is information on how we intercept or
decode their own secret transmissions. And anything they can do to overcome our ability to do that is very valuable to them.
This latest arrest follows a string of spectacular Pentagon spy cases over the past few years. The most damaging, the Walker spy ring, which sold submarine secrets to the Soviets. The Army is now attempting to determine exactly what secrets Hall may have given to the East Germans. According to one officer, we start out expecting the worst and just hope it's not that bad. Jim Miklashevsky, NBC News, Washington.
Louis Sullivan, the man that George Bush wants to be his Secretary of Health and Human Services, was busy in Washington today mending fences. Sullivan met for 3 hours with Bush aides and with anti-abortion Republicans in Congress, upset by a newspaper interview in which Sullivan said that he favored a woman's right to choose abortion. Sullivan today clarified his position, saying that he was opposed to abortion except in cases of rape, incest, or when the woman's life is in danger.
You know, you could eat Quaker instant oatmeal all week long and never have the same flavor twice.
But have maple and brown sugar only once a week?
Come on. Quaker instant oatmeal. It's the right thing to do and the tasty way to do it.
Hey. We won $10 million from Publishers Clearinghouse.
And we only had one chance to win.
Now, Publishers Clearinghouse gives you 5 chances to win big money fast. We're announcing more winning numbers, more prizes than ever before right on TV. On January 31st, you could win $10 million. But to win fast, you've got to enter fast. So watch your mail for the biggest Publishers Clearinghouse sweepstakes ever and enter today.
We won $10 million.
If you hurry, you can too.
After going to the hospital and after being treated for my broken finger, I realized that I had a headache. And the doctor suggested that I take Tylenol. It emphasized how much hospitals and how much doctors really trust Tylenol. So I went ahead and I took it. Ever since then, I've been using Tylenol.
Shelley Pyle trusts Tylenol, the pain reliever hospitals use most.
If they feel it's good enough for their patients, then I feel it's good enough for me also.
Now try new gelatin-coated gel caps, only from Tylenol.
The new Remington Electroblade vibrating blade system has been an amazing success for those who prefer shaving with a blade. Electroblade's vibrating twin blades glide so easily you'll get the closest, smoothest blade shave you've ever imagined or your money back.
It is every family's nightmare. An armed robber breaks into a house and goes on a rampage. This nightmare came true for one family last week in Texas. Remarkably, a little girl was able to describe the whole thing to police while it was going on. Police audio tapes of this dramatic incident have just been made available. It happened early in the morning at this house in Arlington. A man with a gun and a knife kicks in the back door. At home, Dale Hollingsworth, his son Buddy, who's 14, and his daughter Laura, just 8 years old. Laura calls 911.
Arlington emergency.
There's somebody in my house.
Somebody's in your house?
Yes, and he just broke in with a gun and he wanted my father's money.
Tell your father you have police on the way.
Okay, Daddy, there's police on the way.
Yeah.
In the living room, Laura watches as her father and the intruder fight. The father is attacked with a knife.
My dad is covered with blood.
Does he need an ambulance?
Yes.
I need an ambulance. Okay.
The attacker stabs Laura's father in the head, arms, and hands. But the violence isn't over.
I heard a shot.
Oh, he killed the guy.
He is Buddy, Laura's brother. To save his father's life, Buddy took a hunting rifle and shot the burglar.
Where's the burglar?
He's in there. He's dead.
The burglar's been shot?
Yes, my brother shot him.
The police arrive, but Buddy and Laura are afraid to let them in. Buddy fires 2 more shots, mistaking the police for other intruders.
Policemen should be out in front of your house.
They're not, because somebody's saying, come out with your hands up.
Yes, that's a policeman.
The police operator tries desperately to convince Laura to let the officers in.
My daddy's bleeding. He's not talking.
He's bleeding. He needs help. Will you open the door? Okay, the cops are inside.
Okay.
Laura's father is listed in good condition. The dispatcher, Valerie Nelson, said that her effort was all in a day's work. The dead intruder was 18 years old.
What I would like you to do, Mr. Customer, Ms. Customer, is kind of ask yourself, do I make 1-minute phone calls? Most of the time the answer is no. Think about when you see a comparison that states a time. Look at that chart and say, are these the calls that I make with this length of time on that particular day of the week? Generally speaking, the longer the call, the lesser the cost differential between AT&T and any of its competitors.
This January, you may be American Family's newest multimillionaire. $10 million. Imagine you could treat yourself to marvelous vacations.
Just like me.
Own the home of your dreams.
Just like us.
Get more fun out of life.
We sure are.
You'll be set for life.
Just like us.
Watch for the American Family Sweepstakes with my picture and the $10 million prize I'll announce this January 27th. Don't miss out. Last chance. Enter at once.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Everyone's asleep.
Shh, I know how to wake them up. Come on.
Happy holidays from Folgers.
You know how some cereals have a long list of ingredients? Well, not Quaker Oats. It has a list of one ingredient, 100% rolled oats. Quaker Oats. It's the right thing to do.
2 weeks after the earthquake in Armenia, Soviet leaders are now clashing over how the relief effort was handled. Prime Minister Nikolai Ryzhkov has attacked the foreign ministry for failing to give enough help to foreign rescue teams. However, Foreign Minister Shevardnadze said that his ministry did all that was possible and called the criticism unjustified. The relief effort continued today, even though Red Cross officials said no more emergency supplies are needed. They said any more would only cause more problems because it has been difficult to get the aid distributed. Soviet officials said the evacuation of women and children from earthquake areas now has been completed. 2 Soviet cosmonauts came back from space today after spending 365 days, 22 hours, and 39 minutes in a space station. That's a record. Their return to Earth was delayed for 3 hours by a computer problem, but they and the French astronaut who spent the last month in space with him all report that they're feeling fine. And another Soviet triumph, the world's largest airplane. TASS says it went for a successful test flight today and stayed aloft for 1.5 hours. The plane has 6 turboprop engines, and the Soviets say it can carry cargo weighing 500,000 pounds.
Hey, McElroy, I thought you were from Illinois.
I am.
Only guys from Kentucky do that with their shredded wheat.
I've been doing this since I was a kid.
Here's how we do it in Brooklyn. First, we break them in half, and then we mash them to a pulp. Add some milk, maybe a little fruit garnish.
Now, Biscuit shredded wheat is great no matter how you eat it, because it's nutritious whole wheat with no added sugar or salt.
What do the guys from California do?
They float them.
Before you tackle a mountain the size of Everest, you've already made your most critical decisions. What to bring with you.
When 1,000 doctors were asked if they were stranded in a place like this, which one of these medicines would they want along? Doctors chose Bayer, more than all these combined.
I chose Bayer. Shouldn't you?
Bayer, the wonder drug that works wonders. Also in coated caplets.
There's no Christmas in Bethlehem this year.
It won't be a sacred city after all.
The changing face of Bethlehem on Sunday Today, television's weekly news magazine.
This holiday, save an arm and a leg with Pam. Pam No-Stick Cooking Spray makes baking a whole lot easier. Pam, because how you cook is as important as what you cook.
Gas pain,
Bloating. Gas-X has the strongest, fastest relief ingredient. Painful gas is like beer bubbles. Add the leading antacid. Add Gas-X. Only Gas-X gets rid of the gas. The strongest, fastest reliever for gas pain and bloating. Gas-X.
It is no joke that Christmas and New Year's are sometimes called the alcohol holidays. People drink too much, and that causes many problems in this country, especially when they drink and drive. But this year in California, some people are working to stop that. NBC's Don Oliver reports tonight that they're focusing their efforts where the drinks are served.
Monterey and Santa Cruz counties are beautiful spots to vacation and unwind. But there is evidence here too many are getting too unwound, drinking too much in the 1,000 restaurants and bars which serve liquor. Residents in some areas were so fed up with drunks and drunk drivers, they threatened to cut hours for liquor sales.
There is a society-wide need to address the issue of drinking and driving.
It was the perfect opening for something called the Responsible Beverage Service Project, an unlikely coalition of restaurant and bar owners, law officers, civic officials, and social workers concerned with alcoholism and drunk driving. This was their holiday mixer, designed to show that people can have a good time, even if they don't drink as much of the hard stuff.
Now these are Bill Bailey. You can drive home Bill Bailey.
A contest for bartenders, a prize for the most innovative non-alcoholic drink recipe. At this establishment, no longer do pitchers of margaritas go to the tables. The giant 27-ounce drink is gone. All the waiters, waitresses, and bartenders have taken training to recognize customers who are getting drunk, and rather than throwing them out, get them to slow down.
I've had people come in the next day and thank me for watching out for them and, making sure they get home safe.
The number of bars and restaurants participating in the program is limited, but growing. Those involved say they haven't lost many customers, and even if they do, the legal and community pressures are more important.
If we get the bad reputation of allowing these kind of behavior to go on, then we've done ourselves a disservice.
A 2-year federal survey is now in progress involving 6 bars in these 2 counties.
In the bars chosen for the study, evaluators will sit and count the number of drinks being poured. Then they'll monitor the condition of the customers to see if the Responsible Beverage Project is really working.
The night of the mixer, the California Highway Patrol set up a breathalyzer display for those who wanted to check their sobriety. If the study shows that more people walk out of bars sober, the Responsible Beverage Service Project coordinators think the program could be used nationwide to reduce drunk driving. Don Oliver, NBC News, Santa Cruz, California.
And updating tonight's top story, a Pan Am jumbo jet, Flight 103, bound from London to New York, crashed soon after takeoff with 258 people on board tonight. The plane hit several houses and a gasoline station in Lockerbie in Scotland and exploded. Witnesses say the fireball was hundreds of feet high. So far, the cause of the crash has not been determined. Pan Am says it knows of no survivors on the airplane. There were also many casualties on the ground. That's Nightly News for this Wednesday night. I'm Tom Brokaw. We'll have additional details on this story throughout the evening on NBC, and I'll see you tomorrow night.
He gave them a Christmas they'll never forget.
I got like a princess.
You can help find a soldier turned Santa on Unsolved Mysteries. Then you better watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout. Here's telling you why.
Hey, Harry, want to ride?
It's the night court before Christmas, followed by a holiday baby boom in the spirit of the season. Tonight.
Coming up.